And yes, Muslim lives matter. I'm so sick of our lives not mattering. And American media, you are guilty. You're the ones who got the whole country, my whole life, to hate me, to hate my Muslim family, to hate all Muslims across the world. You're the sick sons of bitches that called us terrorists.
Hi guys, welcome to another video. Let's dive into this. In this clip, we see political commentator TYT Cenk Uygur go ballistic and express his own passion and calls out the media hypocrisy, Israeli government actions, and widespread Muslim lies. He unloads on big names such as Constantine Christian, mainstream US media, and IDF actions in Gaza with raw fury and raw passion. In this statement, he said that Muslim voices have been silenced, demonized, and labeled as threats, and I agree with him and also believe this statement also. This media has built the narrative and then acted surprised when a crime spiked and war ensued. That is not just bias, that is engineered hate, created by media buyers to purposely create war while they sit in their office comfortably.
Does my life matter? Does my life matter? Does my family's life matter?
So Constantine Kissin today referred to me as woke after I talked about the difficulty in engaging in polite conversation and debate with a man who has a smirk on his face as I talk about the slaughter of innocent people in Gaza. And that man was Conricus. I forget his first name, don't care about his first name, but unfortunately I had the displeasure of having to debate him on Piers Morgan's show. Jonathan Conricus. Okay. So how is that woke? He quote tweets that. I say polite debates with men who smirk as I bring up the slaughter of innocents is nonsensical. He says woke is so back, baby.
Yeah, no, Anna, of course, being anti-genocide is woke. Like the non-woke position is genocide and Holocaust are awesome, which I'm sure Constantine Kissin agrees with because he just said it. He just said that being against the genocide is woke.
Here is where the madness peaks. This is where Cenk perfectly set up his trap. He's forcing Constantine into making an impossible decision, either admitting opposing genocide is non-woke or defending that the idea of aiding genocide is the non-woke position. If calling out mass killings is now woke, what the hell does that say about the moral compass of this talking head? They have no moral compass. Instead, they delight in the joy of killing people and perpetrate war. When genocide is mocked or dismissed with sarcasm, you are not being edgy, you are defending barbarism.
So he's so not woke, he probably loves genocides and Holocaust.
So let me understand something. If I decided to quote tweet him on October 7th when Hamas slaughtered innocents in Israel and claimed that his complaints about that was woke, would that be okay? Of course it wouldn't be okay, right?
No, that's against Israel, so you better watch yourself.
Because innocent people, civilians, should be and must be protected. I look at Israeli civilians as human beings, and when they are targeted the way Hamas targeted them on October 7th, it's freaking disgusting. Anyone justifying it should absolutely be condemned. But for some reason, the humanity of the Palestinian people doesn't matter at all. They just openly mock the idea that anyone would be upset at the slaughter of innocent people. Okay.
Because
I see who you are, Constantine. I see who you are.
Yeah,
wow.
Look, we think Israeli civilians and Palestinian civilians are the same. They're both human beings and their lives should be protected. They don't believe that. They think Palestinian civilians are to be murdered by the IDF under the guise of self-defense.
In this powerful segment, Cenk confronts the stark reality of the conflict through undeniable statistics. The death toll of 17,000 children represents more than just numbers. It raises fundamental questions about humanity and accountability. His reference to American doctors' testimonies about targeted violence against children adds a particularly disturbing dimension to this crisis. These aren't just claims, they're documented observations from medical professionals on the ground, making them impossible to dismiss or ignore.
Oh, I had to murder 17,000 children because Hamas made me do it. And I was defending myself against 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds. And by the way, that's why 100 American doctors came back from Gaza and said, wow, we saw an extraordinary number of headshots on children as young as 3 and 5. Snipers shooting children in the head because of self-defense. But to people like Constantine, Palestinian lives, Iranian lives, etc., they're nothing. Because they're inferior to the Israelis.
Listen, I know that.
Well, they got close to the Israeli troops. That's because the Israeli troops killed everyone who was distributing food outside of them. And they're like, come here, little Palestinians. That's it. Throw them down and slaughter them. But we're the moral army doing self-defense. It definitely doesn't do that. And I know you don't care about civilians if they're not Israeli civilians. That's why you're monsters. Total monsters.
It's amazing how openly they like mock and laugh at the slaughter of innocent people. But okay, Constantine.
When you
I
laugh
guess
at
I
a
will.
genocide, you are by definition a monster. Since 1948, they have attacked all of their neighbors and taken more and more land. That is an absolute certain fact. But they lie to you and they go, oh no, it was the terrorists. That they made us take their land. They made us take a huge chunk of the West Bank. They made that. And you could easily do that because you manipulated all of our politicians. You bought them through AIPAC. And no, I don't care what you say. You definitely bought them. That's exactly what AIPAC did. And anyone who's a fool enough to tell you, no, AIPAC gave out hundreds of millions of dollars, but it didn't affect our politicians. You'd have to be a moron of the highest order to say that. You'd have to be the dumbest person in the whole planet to say our crook politicians took hundreds of millions of dollars from AIPAC, but it didn't affect them? Come on, who could be that stupid? Oh, I know, every single mainstream media reporter in America. Every single one of them lies to you on purpose and says, no, AIPAC doesn't have any influence.
This confrontation represents a fundamental challenge to mainstream media narratives. Cenk isn't merely criticizing specific coverage, he's making a broader accusation about systemic bias in media reporting. His emotional delivery underscores the gravity of these allegations, suggesting a deep-rooted frustration with what he perceives as institutional failure in honest reporting.
AIPAC, don't say it, anti-Semite. No, you guys are anti-Palestinian, anti-Muslim, racist, and bigots. You don't care about Muslim lives. You don't care about Muslim lives at all. So when Palestinians are slaughtered, what is it going to take? 18,000 kids? 180,000 kids? You don't care about them at all. Whenever Israel slaughters, you go, terrorists, they had it coming. And you did a propaganda for self-defense. 2 years later, self-defense, they declared in their cabinet that they're taking all of Gaza. It was always about the land. Does anybody have CNN or MSNBC or Fox News say that? No, they never say it. They lied to you on purpose to help Israel steal more land in the Middle East, and they claim it's self-defense. Self-defense, my ass. It's a goddamn genocide. And yes, Muslim lives matter. We're also human beings. The only human beings on this planet aren't Israelis. They're not some special benighted superhumans. Oh my God, if they die, we all have to say, oh, we bow down to you. But if Muslims die, all right? That's what American media does. That's what American politicians do. I'm so sick of our lives not mattering. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of everyone has to grovel to Israel. But the minute you ask someone, can you be a decent human being and care about the Palestinians? They go, anti-Semite. No, F you. You're the one who hates Muslims. And American media, you are guilty. You're the ones who got the whole country, my whole life, to hate me, to hate my Muslim family, to hate all Muslims across the world. You're the sick sons of bitches that called us terrorists when it was Israel attacking, when it was Israel taking land, when it was Israel slaughtering and slaughtering. How many times? Every war, Israel kills 100 times the civilians. This time they kill 1,000 times the civilians. Doesn't count. What does the American media say in their infinite racism? They say it's always the Muslims' fault. It's always the Palestinians' fault. They say stupid crap like, oh no, the Palestinians can't govern themselves. They're violent, terrorists, savages. They can never govern themselves. They're inferior to the Israelis. You don't say that, but you imply that every time. What, the Palestinians are the only people on earth who can't govern themselves? No, you're deeply racist if you say that. Do you understand? No, every cable news anchor, every reporter at the New York Times, every reporter at the Washington Post, you're all
deeply racist against Muslims, and you have gotten this country to hate us. It's totally your fault. And you've gotten the country to believe that 1.6 billion Muslims are America's enemies, that we're the violent savages. You're sick. You're disgusting. I can't stand it anymore. Can you, for once in your life, treat a Muslim life the same as an Israeli life? And the answer for mainstream media in America is hell no. They're never going to do it. Never. They hate Muslims and they drive hatred towards Muslims because Israel needs more land. They need more of Gaza. Are you going to report accurately that they voted to take Gaza? It was never about self-defense. They took Gaza. They voted on that. Have you said it? No. Oh, I mentioned it on page A17. But I don't want anybody to find out Israel's the aggressor. Israel's a moral army. Israel's doing self-defense. So it's dirty Muslims that are attacked. I'm sick of it. F all of you in American media. F all of you for driving that hatred against 1.5 billion people, all to serve your beloved Israel.
In this moment, we witness Cenk at his most raw and emotionally exposed. He's completely shed any pretense of detached commentary, speaking with unfiltered passion and fury. His comparisons are undoubtedly controversial, but they reflect his deeply held conviction that mainstream media has played a role in systematically dehumanizing his community. This isn't performative outrage. It's the culmination of years of frustration from someone who feels his people have been consistently marginalized and demonized.
I know I'm the one who's being terrible anti-Semite. How could you say something against Israel? Israel is the Jewish state, the greatest state of all, right? I don't care that they're Jewish. I wish they weren't. I wish they had a safe haven for Jews that didn't constantly attack their neighbors.
It's called
that
Miracle.
didn't occupy their neighbors. I want a safe haven, but they don't want a safe haven. They want more land. It's called Greater Israel. It's a map that hangs in their cabinet. It's not like they're hiding it. Why don't you report it? Because no, anti-Semitic. That's an excuse they use to drive hatred towards Muslims so that Israel can accomplish their objectives. And I'm just, as you can tell, had all I could take.
Yeah,
You know
same.
what happened? Anna, sorry.
Same.
So one of our members, History Speaks, wrote in about this story that just came out in the last hour in the Washington Post. I couldn't believe it. So I looked it up. It's true. Sorry, guys. Obviously, I'm enraged here. I got to a point where I can't take it anymore. Does my life matter? Does my life matter? Does my family's life matter? Okay, here's what Israel did according to the Washington Post in Iran. There's an audio recording that the Washington Post has gotten. It says in the recording that Israeli intelligence calls Iranian generals, and they say, I can advise you now, you have 12 hours to escape with your wife and child. Otherwise, you're on the list right now, on our list right now. And his family, at any moment, quote, we're closer to you than your own neck vein. Put this in your head. May God protect you, he said. So look, you want to do psyops? You want to threaten their generals? I get it. You call up and say, we're going to murder your children. You know what? Who does that? Terrorists do that.
Thank you for watching this analysis. If you found it insightful, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Join us next time for more in-depth media commentary.
And so I'm sick of your expansion. I'm sick of your wars. And I'm sick of us having to pay for all of your atrocities.